Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on viewing the latest feature releases for Sage Intacct. Before we get started, here are a few tips on using the Zoom platform so you can engage with our presenters and have the best experience possible. You should see a Zoom toolbar with icons for Ask a Question and Raise Your Hand. Please use the Ask a Question feature to submit a question or comment. If you need any assistance, click on the Raise Your Hand button and I will connect with you to help. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we will do our best to answer them all. If we didn't answer your question, we will follow up with you personally after the presentation. Within 72 hours of the webinar, you will receive a link to download the slide deck and presentation. Today's webinar does qualify for CPE credits. To receive your credits, you must actively respond to 3 out of the 5 polling questions and stay on for the duration of the webinar. If you have any difficulty answering the polling questions, please email elevatelearn@armaninollp.com with questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters, Jen Bowman, Shannon Santa-Steven, and Kern Aker.
Hi, Jen Bowman here, manager at Armanino in the Sage Intacct group. Looking forward to presenting some of the exciting updates that Intacct has to offer for this quarterly release. I'm joined by Shannon. If you want to say hi, Shannon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Santa-Steven, and I'm looking forward to sharing the release information with you today. And I'll turn it over to Kern.
Hello, everyone. Kern Aker here. I'm the solution architect here at Armanino. Looking forward to showing you some of the exciting new features around some of the financial modules.
Excellent. And then behind the scenes, monitoring the chat, we have Jeremy Anderson and Claire Holman from our delivery team. So we're appreciative of their efforts as well. And anything that we don't have a chance to answer for you, we will take offline and be sure to provide you a response. Learning objectives. So in addition to the CPE piece, we definitely want to help identify the new features that are included in the Sage Intacct Release number 3 for this year. We're going to walk you through updated user interface, and then help you to identify new features that are available. I'm so sorry. Might have to pivot here because I'm having a coughing fit. Shannon, can we start with you first?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Nope, not at all. What to do? There. This on. Turn this on. And we will head into accounts receivable. And some of the great new features they have happening today in the new release. So, big news. Authorize.net and PayPal are going away from being integrated with Intacct. So the replacement is going to be VersaPay. It's one of our great marketplace partners that you can find out on the Sage Intacct marketplace. And you can request more information about how to transfer your service. There is a demo here and some provider documents on the interface and their portal so that your clients can go and pay their invoices. And they're a marketplace partner, so they're fully integrated with Intacct and a preferred provider for us. And so please do reach out to your customer success manager here at Armanino, or you're welcome to look up VersaPay on the marketplace, and they will help get you transferred over from AuthorizeNet PayPal. Other news in accounts receivable. We now have more ways to make and receive payments in Intacct. And I'm excited about this because I've been around Intacct about 10 years, and it's been fun to see the evolution of the receive payment screen. And you've seen this. And then we have the new receive payment screen. And now we have the ability to apply a payment right from your invoices list view. And when you do that, it opens up a new, I think, more intuitive payment screen where you can fill in your payment method, your check number, and receive your amount and have it automatically applied. And if you need to apply any credits, you can click the button here and it'll show any credits that are available and apply them in a waterfall method. And then you just post your payment and you're on your way. So sometimes that's a little bit easier to make your payments if you can just kind of do it one at a time like that. So that's one of the great new benefits. And then customer advances kind of got some updates too. You can save them as drafts now and return to them later, which I find is very efficient and helpful. And they have payment IDs on them now so that you can learn them that way. And it helps with traceability in reports. And you can find them more easily when you're applying payments and advances and credits in your aging. Customer refunds are here. We've been asking for this for years and years and years and years. And those that have been around Intacct know that refunds were a challenge in the past because there is kind of a phantom transaction that needs to exist before you can actually print the check. And so Intacct has taken care of that for us. And there's a whole new look and feel to this and a workflow that you can find out all about using the new Intacct AI help. And it's really great because it'll help you have tidier books and be able to apply credits and finally refund those dollars that are lingering on your aging and really just kind of take care of all of the loose ends. And there is functionality so that you can make some custom reports around that. And it's currently supporting the record transfer payment method only. So as if you were going to send a wire out to your customer who needs a refund. All right, moving on to revenue management. The summarization in the revenue recognition entry has been streamlined so that there are less detailed transactions in your general ledger if that's how you'd like to look at your data. So if you are familiar, you can see individual lines of revenue running through your GL accounts, or you can have a summarized view. And so they made the summarization a little more efficient so that reports are more easily able to be generated. And there's a new revenue recognition schedule entry data source so that you can your revenue subledger. The consolidation module, we have a new early adopter feature in the advanced ownership consolidation module. This has to do with the equity method and being able to roll up net income for non-wholly owned subsidiaries in this example. And when you get the slide deck after the webinar, you'll be able to see this a little more with more granularity. But if the bottom entity, the E401 here, has less than 100% equity because it's a subsidiary of the parent, as the net income is rolling up, the system can now take those portions and include them in the equity reports. And so this is kind of an example of how that works. So that's great news. And that's in the early adopter phase. And so it will be out to the general population of Intacct users. Contracts, they're making things more flexible for contract modifications. And so you can now edit the reversal dates on AR payment so that you don't necessarily have to span months if your books are still open and you miskey the date of the reversal or need to do any other maintenance that way. And it helps with improving your accuracy for the subledger general ledger reconciliation. And there's a new feature in the More Actions menu item to force the contract to be renewed or not renewed, so that if you didn't hang a renewal on the contract or the contract line at its inception, you can make the system do that for you now. So that's great. And if you're using the dashboard, the SaaS Intelligence dashboard, there's a new way to map items and bundle them together so that the new item acts as a replacement for your CMRR and the quantity is transferred. So if you're changing items, it's no longer showing a churn. So that's great news. And you can now reassign dimensions on contract lines for contracts that are in progress. And this allows you to easily change or remove incorrect dimensions on contract lines without impacting past transactions. Because we all know Intacct is non-revisionist, so any changes you make today will impact future transactions. So that's great news. And we're supposed to have a polling question now. Jen, how are you doing with are you there?
I think I'm recovered.
Okay, great.
So I hope it's okay to go out of order with the questions. So this says polling question 4. So within SaaS Intelligence, the item mapping and bundling features allow you to substitute an old item or group of items with a new item on current or renewal subscriptions. Is that true or false? Just give it a moment. And then I guess the answer, it is true. That's excellent. 93% got that right.
Awesome. All right. Moving on to inventory and supplies. We have some new features. Get to be able to pack and ship and invoice orders when you only have some of the requested items in stock. And so now you can kind of keep your warehouse moving while you're waiting for delays in items. And this helps you be able to manage customer expectations and have more improved order tracking visibility for partial shipments. We really like this. And then enhanced reporting for inventory. You can turn on the show transaction totals. And this report enhancement to the valuation report allows the detail section of the report to include a transaction total line. And it shows you where your valuations changes might have occurred. And as we all know, working in the inventory module, we are tracking value and quantity. And sometimes that drifts from what's in the general ledger. And so this will help you kind of manage that and catch that a little sooner. So please do turn this on and take a look at the report. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you with that. And we have a new transfer function so that you don't have to do the transfer in transaction definition and then the transfer out transaction definition. We now have a streamlined transfer process between warehouses. So that's good. Right. Because the former transaction definitions for transfer in and transfer out will no longer be supported in 2026. So good evolution. And we're really excited about these new features of Intacct.
Awesome.
So to you, Kern, or we're going to go back to Jen?
Let's see. I think I'll share and go back to the beginning since I've recovered now. Thanks for bearing with me. We'll talk about some company updates. So there's an update to the Sage Intacct import service. So as we know, importing data is pretty critical function, right? And now there is a dedicated workspace which you can navigate to just by going into company import. And then up at the top is a link to this new dedicated import workspace. And it helps to provide real-time access within the import process to help you. You can use spreadsheets with multiple tabs. You can have real-time error handling and a much more intuitive interface. So I've got a little picture here of what that interface looks like. And then you can really that in real time as you import your CSV files into Sage Intacct. Updates to the user experience. The enhanced list as a default experience, an admin user can enable that so that all of the lists would have that enhanced view. Currently, each user has this highlighted area here, turn on enhanced list. And when you personalize that list view, that's customizable while you work, and it's on a per user basis. And you have that ability to move those columns around, freeze columns, sort by the data that's meaningful to you in that particular search that you happen to be engaging in. And then you can save those customized views for future use and then engage in the advanced filtering. This is also a screenshot of what one of those advanced lists looks like. I have this enabled with a vendors list in one of my demo environments. So I encourage you to test that out today. And that takes us to our first polling question, or really our third, but out of order today. The enhanced list feature, is this true and false? Includes advanced filtering to enable you to search for a range on date and amount fields, as well as filter criteria using and or operators. Is that true or is that false? Give everybody a moment to answer. And also keep in mind too, that you need to engage in these polling questions as part of the criteria for CPE. Guess we'll go ahead and show answer. All right, that's great. It is true, correct. 86% got that one correct. Moving on, other topics in user experience, the help content enhancement. So there's now a toggle on relevant online help pages, and it lets you switch between the instructions for the existing user interface and instructions for a new enhanced one. So no matter what version you happen to be using, you can find the how-to information that you need. And this highlight here is for the find bills on hold is part of that advanced interface. In addition, there's a new language switcher toggle within the help content, making it easier to, read through help content in a preferred language. And this list here shows all of the available languages that are of use. E-procurement. This will be adjunct to the purchasing module. It is a new, essentially punch out catalog feature. Some of you have looked at marketplace partners, et cetera, when you're looking at carving out from your vendors a particular list of products that you would prefer your employees purchase. And that might be based on vendor contracts that you have in place, preferred pricing for certain items, et cetera. Well, now Intacct has announced that will be available within the Intacct platform. So definitely talk to your client managers about this if you are interested. But it helps you to gain, to gain real-time access to your vendor lists, products that are available, quantities that are available, and particular shopping carts right from within those vendors' websites. And then that information, that data will then transfer and synchronize over into a purchasing transaction definition automatically, so they don't have to recopy that information into Sage Intacct. And again, will help you really manage spend and also joining together your purchasing protocols, policies, and procedures together with vendor preferential pricing within those vendor catalogs. It's a very exciting development. Leads us to our another polling question, I guess. So this one is multiple choice. Sage Intacct's new e-procurement feature increases efficiency and time savings with the following functionality. So just enter a single choice. Do the punch-out catalogs enable you to create the shopping carts directly from a vendor's website, providing immediate access to current product information, pricing, and availability, managing spend by capturing and utilizing negotiated vendor discounts, and then integrating your purchasing guidelines into the vendor shopping experience, or all of the above. So I don't think we should have too much time to answer this particular question. Let's see what everybody said. All right, excellent. So 90% of you, which I believe is almost everybody who answered. Oh, there's a few in here. Okay, fabulous. So all the above, all those features are going to be available with e-procurement. On to purchasing. Combining multiple documents into a single transaction, that has gotten even easier. So a way to have multi-document conversion feature within all purchasing environments. You can simplify your workflow during conversion. You can combine multiple purchasing documents or specific line items into one transaction. That's a really nice update and benefit. Intacct is going into that line level detail with regard to approvals and also with regard to document conversions as well. So really a nice update to the Sage Intacct environment. In addition, the line level matching within purchasing and AP automation, it's an early adopter. If you are already using the purchasing module and you already are signed up for the AP automation feature, then please do reach out to your client manager if you're interested in line level matching. And that is a feature that's an early adopter. So what they'll do is they will ask you for your feedback. You could help them as they perfect that particular solution within your Sage Intacct environments along the way. And then subsequently, in hopefully the next release or two, that will become a generally available feature. There is now greater visibility into match tolerance exceptions. So you can configure this control mechanism, and it will help compare purchase order quantity and price and define discrepancies between the two. So now, if you enable this feature, you can have this button here that you can click to view those exceptions, and then you can decide how you want to handle those. So you do need to enable this feature in purchasing in the configuration screen. Again, we're always available to help you in that regard. You could talk to your client manager. There might be times when there's a few things that you want to take advantage of, and we could put together a small project to help you enable your Intacct environment and just really make the most and optimize your Sage Intacct environment with all these new updates. You can configure the transaction definitions that you want to validate with quantity and or price tolerance percentage. So there's flexibility there. And then when a new draft transaction is created and the quantity or price differs, you'll just click that button, and then you can look at the exception and then decide how to handle that accordingly. All right. So what is now generally available is that automated transactions that don't have a match for AP automation with purchasing. In the past, if you had purchasing enabled with AP automation and you didn't have a purchasing document, I think it would usually flag like an exception. Well, now you can set it if you want it to just look for a purchasing transaction, but when they don't see one, like in the cases of like utilities, rent, et cetera, it will just automatically create that draft AP bill instead of flagging it as sort of an exception for handling. So this feature is now generally available if you have, purchasing enabled as well as the AP automation feature. Nice update. Smarter email capabilities for AP automation. So in November, Sage Intacct will switch everyone to a new email domain. So you'll go from your sagemail.com to ai.sage.com. And again, this is for all the AP automation clients. So now what's nice is you'll have this auto forwarding rule as well as inline attachments. So attachments that are in the email body will be extracted for processing. The really important piece is this text from email body. I've received a lot of that are really wanting this enablement. For example, you might have a department head who has a bill. They forward it, and in their email, they'll say code to Department X, grant Y, project B, right, et cetera. Well, now the AI machine learning is going to pick up that text, and it will be able to, as it smarter, and as you use that feature, it will start to code more accurately as time goes on. And it will pick up that text from the email body. So that's a big one. And then more smartphone capabilities are being added in too with this, supporting iPhone images for incoming attachments as well. All right. So polling question number 3, which I think might actually be the 5th one that we've had today. All right. So AP automation with purchasing, line level matching is a generally available feature for all Sage Intacct customers. Would that be true or false? All right. Do we have all of our answers? Oh, that was a mix. So that is false. It is an early adopter. So if you are interested in that particular feature, then you do need to reach out to your client manager for more information. On to accounts payable. Smoother AP bill delegation. That is definitely something that, customers have been requesting as well. So you can maintain really an uninterrupted bill approval process when someone's unavailable with approval delegation. So due to vacation, leave, other absences, planned or unplanned, you can ensure that the bills continue to move through the approval workflow without delays. So definitely benefits, especially, if it's planned or unplanned absence of a particular approver. It also allows that delegation to individuals and also user groups for flexible coverage. That might be something, again, that you might want to turn to us to help you enable. So we'll be happy to work with you on that as well. So you can configure this. So if you're going to act as a delegate, a user of all of the members of a group must have the approved bills list permission. And so then at this time, though, this delegation feature is not supported for value-based bill approvers. Sorry about that. The slide got a little bit wonky there. So vendor payments powered by Mineral Tree. Shannon had talked about on the VersaPay side of things for AR payments, and this is for the AP side of things, AP payments. So Mineral Tree, it is an in-product way for you to transmit your AP data to Mineral Tree, who will then in turn handle the disbursements through your bank by the vendor's preferred payment method if you have that designated within the vendor record in Sage Intacct. So now you are able to maintain that payment preference information. Mineral Tree will follow that as the guidance. If you don't have anything set up in that regard, if Mineral Tree already has that vendor in their portfolio, they will follow, their typical method for payment and disbursements with them. You're able to maintain your, the vendor information in Sage Intacct, and then you are able to pay bills within Sage Intacct and not have to go into any third-party platform or product to be able to manage those payments. So Mineral Tree will automatically draw that data in. If some of those vendors agree to the virtual card method for payment, you as a client will earn cashback rebates that will offset these fees, and the fees are stipulated below. So we have $10 per account per month as just a subscription, fee. The one-time fee is $2.50, and then checks are $1.99 each, ACH 49 cents each, and then the virtual card rebates offset those fees. So you'll get a monthly statement from Mineral Tree for those disbursements, and then they'll be offset, obviously by those card rebates. So that's something where you're able to pay those bills in the Sage Intacct environment and not have to feel like you need to resort to, going to an external or printing checks or whatnot yourself. They'll handle all of that for you. So if you are interested, again, talk to your client manager. We'll be happy to set up a call with the people at Mineral Tree and send you some more information as well. All right. So paying bills from the vendor's list. The pay option now appears in the vendor list, the list view, which is great, enabling you to then just link to, use that hyperlink to then go to the pay bills screen. So it appears for all the vendors, regardless of their state or the total that's due. And then the pay is available at the top level and at the entity level. So there might be some conditions where bills cannot be paid from the vendors list and need to then, be paid from pay bills instead. And the Help Center does provide more information about these conditions. And just to remind you that you've got two ways to view, I guess, help content within Sage Intacct. One is by top right, clicking the Help Center. And then just under that, when you're in that navigation panel for the Help Center, there is that Sage Copilot enabled help feature as well. And that, if you've played, with it thus far, you'll notice that you get much more detailed instructions on how to do answers to those questions that you have in the chat, in the Help Center. In other news, with regard to accounts payable, deactivating alternative accounts payable accounts. When you deactivate an alternative account, then it will no longer appear in the list of accounts payable accounts on the bill and the AP adjustment pages. So the account can no longer be used in these transactions, but you can deactivate it even if there's an existing unpaid bill that happened to be posted to that account. But you will need to set the account to active in order to process those additional transactions for those bills, such as making payments. So just something that we want to think about before deactivating is, are there any, outstanding bills that were tagged, I guess, to that particular account? So you still can't deactivate an account if it's selected the accounts payable GL account on the configure accounts payable page. So it's another thing to look at too, is just to double check by navigating to accounts payable to the configurations screen, and then make sure that, the GL account that's, selected as the accounts payable GL account is in there, or, make sure that you remove it and select another account if you do need to deactivate. All right. So accounts payable, creating custom reports on payment approval history. So now you can build custom report on accounts payable payment approvals using a new object. So this custom report writer, that is the standard custom report writer that comes with all of clients' Sage Intacct environments. So you'll notice if you go to the report center and you click the plus button for, adding a new custom report in the custom report writer, module, then you'll notice now you've got a AP payment approval history as a primary source data when you're creating that type of a report. That is a very nice new feature as well. And then finally, in accounts payable, we've got AP automation support for Germany. So it's supporting the format that is a hybrid PDF format that uses embedded XML for electronic bills. And that's something that I think we've been asking about for US bills as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I guess they started with Germany, and maybe they might extend that to US as well. All right. So now we're going to turn things over to, let's see, finished piece. I'm going to just real quick, just saved here for Kern's piece. Give it a moment. All right, great. We'll turn things over to Kern.
Great. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, let's go down to the first feature there. Okay, so now when you are in a multi-entity type environment and you're at the entity level and you want to see other journal transactions that were at the top level, you can now do that. So let me show you what that looks like. So Jen, if you could release, I'm going to do a quick share on this one.
Sure. All right.
Okay, so here we are. Do you guys see the screen? Can somebody give me a yay?
Yes, looks good.
Perfect. So I am in a multi-entity environment. So I'm in the USA 1 entity. So now I'm looking at my journal transactions, and I'm going to do just, if you select this checkbox here, this allows you to see whatever was entered at the top level on the same page within the entity. So just click that. And yeah, we definitely added some more additional journal entries at the top level just by checking that box. All right. So with that said, let's go back over, Jen, to the feature list. We'll go to the next feature.
Sounds good.
Okay, now this feature is for if your primary entity is in France. So they have made some enhancements regarding letterage for French entities. This just allows you to do better or more efficient reconciliation within the same on one page. I won't spend a lot of time on this one since it is country specific, but if you're doing business in France, then this feature would be great for you to check out. And I believe Jen just talked about this one, deactivating not just AP, but AR accounts. So you can prevent those accidental postings by deactivating these alternative AP or AR accounts that you don't use anymore. So they can't be the default accounts that you have set up to your GL posting. But if you're using alternative AP and AR accounts and you want to deactivate those, now you can. All right, Jen, if you want to go to the next polling question.
Sure. All right. So the custom report writer now enables you to build these types of custom reports. AP payment approval history, AR customer refund report, or both. Don't think it should take too long for everybody to answer this particular one. Our answers ready? Okay. All right, both, 87%. Great. So yes, the answer is both. The AP payment approval history and AR customer refund report are both areas you can choose within a custom report writer.
Okay, over to cash management. So now we've got some better transaction matching because banks have given us more fields that we can match against. So those bank feeds that are coming through the banking cloud enable us to create additional parameters around our reconciliation rules. So read about this in the feature list, but I listed some of the new fields. There's a few more in there that just wouldn't fit on my screen. I didn't want to make it too small. So anyway, all those, you can add those to reconciliation rules so you can improve your bank transaction matching. And there's some new notch payment file formats. So Sage keeps up as those new payment files are created. They're adopted back into the Sage system. So you see 4 new file formats included down there at the bottom. Okay, so now if you're doing funds transfers at the entity level, now you're going to have at least one bank account in the to and from related to that entity. Otherwise, you're going to get a message that says, nope, we can't post that transaction. So all you need to do is make sure if you're doing those funds transfers that you at least have at least one of the banks associated with that particular entity. Okay, so now just like you could use some of the other file formats for you to use on checks, what they've done is added an additional file format for PNG. So it's going to work with the same rules as GIFs and JPEGs, but you're going to be able to use that file format, PNG, in addition to the other file formats that you already have. Okay, let's go down to projects and grants next. There's some pretty cool stuff in here now. So this is a pretty awesome feature, in my opinion. So improved revenue recognition based on budgeted costs. What it allows you to do is go in and put in an effective date, and then it will show you just the GL transactions that have posted on or before that date for revenue recognition purposes. So that's definitely a big enhancement to be able to use effective dating as far as how you want to or when you want to recognize revenue based on posting dates. So that's a cool feature. Let's go down to the next one. This is another little efficiency feature. So if you've got standard tasks that you use, you can go to a list of your standard tasks and check off the ones that you want to add over to a project. So it's just, take me to my standard tasks, check off the ones you want to add to your project, and then you're done. It's just an enhancement to make that a little more efficient so you don't have to go back and forth and add in piecemeal.
Nice.
Okay, so here's another feature. You can specify a primary project estimate on a single, because you can have multiple project estimates on a given project. In fact, Jen, I'm going to show this. If you would let go of this share, I'm going to show this live. So when you're in a project, you can have multiple estimates. So let's go ahead and share my screen now. Okay, so let's go down into my projects area. Go to a project estimate. Now you can see this KE time and materials project. We've got two different estimates, but I have made this top one, the one in the middle there, as my primary, right? So it's a checkbox. I can't check it on the list, but what I do is just click into edit. It's going to take me into that estimate. And if I scroll over a little bit, you're going to see this is the primary. And that's where I can designate, yep, that's my primary estimate that we're going to use for budget versus actual type of analysis on my project. So, stop sharing, Jen, if you could take us back into our PowerPoints. Okay, time. All these new enhancements relate to intelligent time. So let's go down to the first one there. Another efficiency, you've got a timesheet entry grid that you can customize now with drag and drop. So you can make the screen look the way you want it to look by customizing it. So whatever you want to see on your screen, whatever fields you need to see, you can drag and drop those over, edit the entry information, show hide details, reorder, all those types of things to make it look just the way you want. Okay, now, Sage Intelligent Time, you can calculate overtime. So when that's applicable, when people are working above standard, beyond standard working hours, and you have an overtime rate, then you can have Sage Intelligent Time do that calculation for you. Nice new feature. Okay, another cool thing is when you want to go on vacation or go on leave or get away, you can manage all that within your Sage Intelligent Time as well. So you can make your leave request. You can see if it's been approved or not. You can look at how many hours or leave balances you have, accrual rates, all that good stuff. And it gives you a little bit of reporting capability as well. So managing employee leave within Sage Intelligent Time is now available. And do we have one more for time? Nope. Got to go to expenses next. So this is a pretty cool feature though. So let's go down. Now you can link credit card expenses and electronic receipts to an expense report. So this will blend. So permissions wise, you need to be able to permission for cash management, because that's where the credit card transaction is going to be, whether it was fed in through the banking cloud or you can manually enter in those credit card transactions. And then you can link it to the receipt, the photo, the attachment, and then bring that straight into an expense report. So it's just making that whole, backup of expenses that were charged on a credit card available that you can add into a credit to a report. So pretty cool feature. You definitely want to check your permissions on this one to make sure that everything's checked off to allow you to use that feature, but does a nice job of linking those credit card expenses and the receipts associated to those back into your expense report. Nice new feature. And I think that was it for expenses, Jen.
Oh. All right.
Okay, a few things in fixed assets. So now when you This is a relatively new module, or at least it is to me. There was the SIG fixed assets, and now there's fixed asset management. So as you're migrating over or adopting this new fixed asset management module, there's a new field in there that allows you to migrate over your accumulated depreciation for assets, bringing that in so it'll display the right accumulated depreciation for all the assets that you're managing in the fixed asset management module. Okay, similar to the import service that Jen talked about earlier, you can now use that same import service to update assets in bulk using the import service. So just like, the other options available to you as far as transaction imports go, now you can update assets in bulk using that same functionality. Okay, so revert posted depreciation entries in bulk. So when you go to the post depreciation page, and I can show this live, Jen, if you want to let go of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So now what you can do is go to that page where you're going to post depreciation. It'll show you all those entries. Let's go down into, let's find it, fixed asset management, post depreciation. Okay, so now when I'm in this screen and I go to post depreciation, look, it's got depreciation posted through 12/31 of 2025. No, I don't want that to happen. So you can check off those records that you want to revert. It will undo the posting of the depreciation journal entry by clicking this revert posting. So you just select them, hit revert posting, and it takes care of all the adjustments, journal entries, etc. And then it'll change this from posted to not posted. So when you do that revert, that's what'll happen. Okay, Jen, let's go back. We may have a few more features in fixed assets. Let's take a look.
All right. And I liked your use of that advanced list feature in that Sage Fixed Assets Management module. It was nice.
Yeah.
Right, with the filtering capability and the drag and drop. Nice. Okay.
Do we have another one? Yes, depreciation enhancements. So when you're looking at, and you can view on the same page, they just inserted your cumulative depreciation amount right there on your screen. I want to say there's one more. Yeah, here's the page enhancements. So you can manage journal entries, rules more easily. You got some additional drop downs there that you can use to help manage journal entry, posting rules, navigation over depreciation schedules, etc. Okay. Now this is I don't know, it's a little bit of a enhancement from efficiency standpoint. So now when you're looking at a fixed asset and you go over to this second tab, depreciation schedules, what you can do, now you can drill down right on the amount in the record. So you used to have to go down to the bottom and hit the view button. Now you can drill down by clicking that hyperlink right there in the first column where it says schedule ID. And then that will show you all the depreciation details for that particular line. A little bit of an enhancement there.
Nice.
And that's it. So thank you very much for your attention, participation. I'll turn it back over to Jen. She's got a few more things to cover in the few minutes we've got remaining. Take it away, Jen.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So let's see. Armanino, we have our academy. So within the slide deck that you receive after the presentation has concluded, you'll be able to follow this link. If there are things that you or new employees would like to learn in any of the core modules of Sage Intacct or report writing as well. Something that has just been announced is the close automation AI feature is now available for customers to purchase. The 3 features that are highlighted in green are available today. Again, at the top of the screen here, I put in a link to a video. There isn't really a demonstration of this because the demo environments have older data. We're not utilizing it. So we don't really have, closed, processes that kind of in place and within those demo environments. So they're trying to work on some type of maybe an enhanced video or a longer video to help show these features. But for now, as you know, if you add anything onto your subscription, then it's prorated to, co-terminate with your renewal date. So I often, tell clients, look, if you've got something where you need a sandbox for a limited time, where you want to try out a new module, etc., then definitely look at, the half year mark or the, 3-4 months, prior to your renewal. Then you can try things at a much reduced price and then add those on to see, how you like certain features. So this might be one of those for you to consider. The pricing works like this. It's $2,000 annual subscription plus another $800 times each of your business users. So that is the base price for this particular feature. As I mentioned, the green sections are available now and the blue are coming soon. So they are expecting later on this month, maybe in September, they're going to announce the checklists and notifications, and then later in the next release, the visibility and the collaboration. So for now, you will have the variance analysis. So detecting the discrepancies between actual budgets and providing AI generated explanations with drill down access to support the details in the prior period comparisons. So it reduces, that back and forth between finance and budget owners, which is nice, and supporting faster, more confident reporting. In addition, the close assistant is part of this package as well. So tracking your completion tasks across AR, AP, and GL and other close workflows, helping you to correctly alerting users to delays, to missing items, to discrepancies. So really helps to reduce that manual tracking and that follow-up, and also strengthening the internal controls with audit trails. So all of these activities are, have an audit trail, within your Sage Intacct environment for tracking as well. And then also the subledger reconciliation agreement, that has just become available in GA, meaning general availability. So automating the process of comparing subledger balances to the GL and flagging discrepancies in real time. So it helps with that reconciliation process, reducing the manual errors, missed adjustments, right? And then it also will, you have mismatches for quick resolution and generating audit ready reports with full traceability right from within your Sage Intacct environment. So those are exciting, new exciting AI enabled feature that is available. As I said, 3 out of the 5 areas are available now. If you wanted to, find out some more information. Again, you can talk to your client manager about that pricing. Something else too, if we have a lot of clients that have been using Intacct for a number of years, and sometimes you don't always have the time and the effort to be able to activate all of the new features that come out 4 times every year. So I've had a lot of customers who have been using Intacct for 4 or more years come to us about health checks. So it's something that I did want to mention to you. So again, this pricing would be included. The $9,500 base provides a full report of all of our findings and recommendations for best practices. And then in the enhanced area, we've included like a bank of time for us to actually attend to some of those areas that we found. And again, in that report, some things we call quick wins, enablements that you can take control of. And then other things are areas where you might want to lean on us to help you in that regard, to lean on our experts for guidance and assistance. So just something that I wanted to mention about a health check. And then really the next level, of service beyond, that would be a managed services program. And so with that, we've got that health check that's built in together with, they call them PEC or planned enhanced consulting time. So you've got your cases or tickets included. You also have time that you can utilize throughout an entire calendar year or rather a managed services year, 12-month period, then you would be able to take advantage of that PEC or plan enhanced consulting time. And then we're also going to weave into this whole process that health check. So that is another level of service that we can provide to our customers. And again, those are more bespoke contracts, and you can talk to your client manager about pricing, in that regard. And then just to kind of give an idea, just in the last minute, I guess, that we have here, I'll leave this with you, is how we engage with clients. So we have this as our complimentary webinar 4 times per year. In addition, sometimes client managers will bring either Karen or Shannon or myself into a conversation with you all. Happy to do that, gratis. If things turn into a project or something or an area that we want to provide another level of service to you, we have those options. We can work with you on a project-based basis or within a managed services agreement. And so main differences would be that, project-based would be time-bound versus managed services encompasses the entire year. And so there's other, the project is obviously of a short length. It's a specific fixed duration, whereas the managed services is throughout the entire year. And then managed services is also a ability to pay over time. So just want to leave you with those final thoughts, and we appreciate your time joining us today and hope you have a great rest of the day.